Today I want to go over collaborative writing with you, and I want to specifically discuss using style sheets. One of the biggest challenges with collaborative writing is making sure that the way you write is consistent from person to person. When you're writing a report, you don't want it to sound like there are several people writing the report. It needs to sound like it's coming from one common author. So ways to make sure that you do that is by using common names that are consistent throughout the report. So for example, if you have a client that primarily does business online, you need to decide whether online is hyphenated or if it's one word or if it's two words. It's not so much which one of those is the correct way, it's whether or not it's consistent throughout your report. If you start off hyphenating online and then 10 pages into the report you start saying online and using it as one word, then the reader's going to question whether or not you understand which way is correct, and they're going to want to know why you've changed it. And what that does is that plants a seed of doubt in them on your credibility. And your credibility is of the utmost importance when you're doing collaborative writing projects, especially one of this size. You also need to discuss amongst your group what titles you will use. For example, will it be Dr. Jack Frost or Jack Frost PhD or Jack Frost MD? And then how will you represent dollar amounts or percentages? One way that you can keep everything together for your group is by using some kind of cloud storage. Whether it's Dropbox, iCloud, Google Drive, OneDrive, or any of the other number ones I cannot think of off the top of my head, this will ensure that everyone has access to the most recent versions. Also, in the event that you cannot email the file because it gets too big, which it could very easily happen, that could easily happen to you as we go through this process. If you send the link, people can access the cloud and get the information down. The way that you keep collaborative writing straight is by using a style sheet. And a style sheet is just a document that you make notes on so that all members know how to track common words, common phrases, the way you handle descriptions of certain things. It's just something you set up, and I would recommend keeping it in your cloud storage so anyone can get it at any time and they can access it at any time or make changes or save changes to it. Okay, so one area that a lot of groups make mistakes in is they don't know how to refer to their client. Sometimes they don't know if their client should be ABC Pest Control, ABC Pest Control Limited, or just ABC. But when you're not consistent throughout the report, it eats away at your credibility. So you need to decide how you're going to refer to your client, and then everyone refers to the client the same way. Also, when you write money, are you going to use a dollar sign? Are you going to say USD or US dollar sign? Will you actually write out all the zeros for millions or billions? Or will you just use a capital M or capital B? Those things need to be on your style sheet so that every writer does the exact same thing. How will you represent percentages? Will you actually use the percent sign or will you spell out percent? When you look at the paper's layout, what size are your margins? What fonts are you using? What size font are you using for your subheadings, your headings, your charts and graphs? Is there a specific color scheme you're using for your charts and graphs so that they're all uniform? And there should be, but this is where you would keep that kind of information. Because you can't keep it all in everyone's head, it will not stay. When you get to the part of the report where you're discussing the competitors, how would you discuss them? So you'll put the competitor's name. Will it be bold or in italics? Will you have the address right underneath it and the phone number? How will you represent the phone number? Will the area could be in parentheses, or will you just use the dots between or the dashes? All of these things add to your credibility, and when there are differences between these things, then it eats away at your credibility.